Humble Pundit here. Today we're going to talk about why most skate shoes suck. We are going to sacrifice some shoes for science. Regular pair of Vans. New Balance 913s. An old pair of my New Balance 860 running shoes. A very old pair of my dress shoes. Alright, so I'm not going to talk about, board feel and how people think that the shoes are different and what they feel like for each individual skater. What I'm going to talk about today is comfort, the actual construction of a shoe, and why skate shoes are so deficient in the construction department, okay? So first we're going to basically talk mostly about the sole itself. There's three parts to a well-constructed shoe sole. There's the outer sole that you see on the bottom, the tread, okay, that's the outer sole. There's the insole, which is basically this flimsy piece of material. And then there's what's called a midsole. Now the biggest problem with a lot of skate shoes is they don't have a midsole, or the midsole is very flimsy. The midsole is supposed to be made of a material called EVA, which is basically a very high density open cell foam. And it's basically, the design of a shoe should be centered around that foam. That foam is actually what gives the shoe its structure, its cushioning, and its support. The outer sole does not do that. The outer sole basically is the interface between the shoe and the ground. So pretty much every outer sole is good rubber or some kind of material, non-slip material, hopefully. The insole is basically designed for one purpose, and that's so that the foot in the shoe doesn't rub against the stitching in what's supposed to be the midsole. Now again, the midsole is what's supposed to be giving you not only the cushioning, but the support and also the structure of the shoe itself. This flimsy insole, and 99.9% of the ones you buy over the counter, are basically useless. They don't really do anything for the shoe. Now, I showed you that I cut some shoes up, and I'm going to show you the midsole itself. Now I'm going to show you some other shoes, and then I'm going to show you a couple of skating shoes, okay? So in my old dress shoe, you can see the midsole here. That's this blue part, okay? That's the high density foam that really provides the shoe what it needs. I didn't actually know, but there's a metal shank right down the middle of my dress shoe, and again, this is a really old dress shoe, so when I buy it new, this is probably about 3 times the size. Now that being said, a good midsole only lasts about 6 months with moderate to daily use. So realistically, that's why these don't last very long. The comfort starts to kind of go away. Now in my really good running shoes, look how thick that midsole is. That's the midsole here. That's what's giving running shoes that extra cushioning, the extra support, and the construction that it needs to do its job so well. It's thick and it's heavy, but it also only lasts about 6 months. Now I'm going to show you a pair of Vans that basically have no midsole at all. Alright, so all you're really seeing is the outer sole, and that's what's stitched on the inside, okay? There is absolutely no midsole at all, and what they do to kind of cheap out is they make very thick, very soft insoles that come with these. Some do actually, some don't at all. Some basically just put in a piece of material in there. But like I mentioned, these insoles are not there for support or cushion. They're basically just an interface so that your foot doesn't rub up against these horrible stitches when your foot's in the shoe with a sock. Now, a happy medium is a New Balance skating shoe, which I showed you before, and if you look at it, there's actually a decent midsole. That kind of electric yellow padding is the midsole of the shoe, and that's really why these New Balance shoes are so much more comfortable than the off-the-shelf kind of Vans that people have been wearing for decades. Same thing like Chuck Taylor's. They don't have a midsole either. Now, why would a company not make a midsole in the shoe? Well, first of all, for two reasons. One, they want to save money. They don't want to pay for the materials to make that midsole. And two, it is a little bit of an intricate process to produce that, so you have to have specialized machinery in your workshop to do that. Now, certainly a company like New Balance that makes walking shoes, running shoes, dress shoes, skate shoes, they already have that. But a company like Vans that have been producing shoes the same way for decades and making a ton of money doing it, don't really feel like they need to put that in there because people are buying their shoes anyway. So why would they invest the extra money into developing a good EVA midsole if it's not really a marketing factor? Now, for me, I just hate Vans because of that. They're horribly uncomfortable, and also they wear out incredibly fast because ultimately all they are is the rubber on the bottom, and as we know, grip tape is basically sandpaper. So you're basically in a shoe with your sock, the rubber on the sole, and sandpaper, versus a shoe like this, which is much, much better for you. Realistically also, we pay a lot of money for these shoes, and they wear out incredibly quickly. Especially, you know, I don't do tricks yet. I'm not really great at skateboarding, even though I love doing it. But I'm not doing kickflips, ollies, you know, things like that. So my shoes don't wear out here along the toe space. My shoes tend to wear out here. But one thing that I can't really understand is why none of these companies came up with a titanium weave shoe. If you go online and type in on Google titanium weave shoes, you'll see that they're specialized shoes for the workplace, for people that are in like construction and welding and things like that. And also, the shoes are way cheaper. You know, you're spending $120 on a skate shoe that has no midsole, that has no protection here other than suede or canvas. Whereas for $90, if you look it up, you can get this unbelievable construction shoe that is virtually impervious to any kind of chemical, abrasive, all kinds of things like that. So why don't they make it into a shoe like that? Well, again, I also think that it's just a matter of finances. If they're selling a shoe that's a bare bone nothing shoe with canvas, no midsole, and a rubber sole that costs them pennies to produce, why would they invest in machinery to make titanium weave material? Why would they invest in machinery and the materials to make a good EVA midsole? They just don't, because they're making tons of money off people buying shoes every 3 months that wear out and that are horribly uncomfortable and hurt people's feet. Now, one thing too is that there are some over-the-counter insoles that are really, really great. I really like Power Step. I talk to everybody about that. But realistically, I wear custom orthotics, which are a very hard plastic shell with basically a material like this over it. And they're the most comfortable things in the world. One, because they were custom made for my feet, but also because I buy shoes that have that good midsole. So they're really, really comfortable. It would be really nice if the skating industry would change things from this kind of horrible, you know, Vans flimsy nothing shoe to an industry standard, something more along the lines of this cut up New Balance shoe. I actually skate the New Balance 1010 Tiagos. I really love them. I find them the most comfortable shoe. They're as comfortable as my running shoe. I can wear them all day with my custom orthotics, and my feet feel great. Again, I'm not speaking to the board feel and all this other stuff. I'm just talking about the construction of the shoe. So it would be really great if the skate shoe industry would really kind of kick it up a couple of notches. We want to get as many people skating as possible, and realistically, that can really start with the shoe. So it'd be really awesome for a company to start making, titanium weave shoes with good midsoles, comfortable shoes that last a while, and people will skate them more. They might take a temporary hit to their finances, but realistically, a good shoe is really where it's at. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up like. If you subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. I hope to see you again soon, and I'll talk to you later.